All right, what's going on? Welcome back to the Insights with Irv. If this is your first time here, welcome. If you are a returning listener, so happy to have you back. Let's get right into the content today. I'll go ahead and save the whole thing about you giving us a 5-star review, leaving us an awesome comment. Look, only if you find value, we would absolutely appreciate that. It would help our show reach a larger audience. So let's get right into it. If you are someone that wants to win at a high level or at a higher level than what you're winning at right now, I have a special episode for you because this is all about programming yourself to win. Now, I'm a very competitive person. I grew up playing baseball all the way to the college level, to the point where I pretty much told my dad, hey, this isn't anything that I want to do anymore. And I pretty much woke up one day with the full ride. I was transferring out of Onondaga Community College. I had a full ride to another school out in Iowa, but I told my dad, this isn't something that I want to do anymore. And so I pretty much hung it up that summer, even though I was probably, in the best shape of my life, baseball wise. But there was something that was instilled in me all of those years of playing, especially if you are someone who grew up playing sports, then you know exactly where I'm going with this, where we have this inherent trait that we constantly are looking to win by any means necessary. Now, obviously, we're not talking about cheating, but we're talking about how can I get an extra edge? If I can go from a 33-ounce bat down to maybe a 32-ounce bat, right? If I can maybe have a longer bat, so if I can go from 33 inches to 35 inches, just so I can maybe get a little bit more coverage on the plate. Maybe if I can shave that down a little bit, have maybe a lighter bat, even though it's a little bit longer, the barrel may be a little bit skinnier, but as long as I can whip that through the strike zone, then I'm going to possibly increase my chances of getting a hit versus getting struck out, or versus popping up, grounding out, whatever it is, right? And so you're always finding the edge. Or for some of my people that maybe did wrestling, or perhaps you did some type of combat sports, you're always looking for the edge of how can I shed that extra pound? How can I maybe get into season, and instead of having to shave down 35 pounds for every match, maybe I only have to shave down 15. And this is all about what I call the psychology or the programming of a winner. And what do we have here? We have 3 specific points that I want to share with you. The first one is going to be surrounding yourself with winners. You want to make sure that you have people, and this is going to be important. You want to have people at 2 to 3 levels ahead of you and people at 2 to 3 levels below you. Now you're probably wondering, Irv, why do I want people 2, 3 levels ahead of me, and why do I want people 2, 3 levels below me? Shouldn't I just have someone that's completely in front of me? And so I'll give you my philosophy around this. If you have someone that's 2 or 3 levels above you, I know that we like to look at people that are 10 levels ahead. So if we're transitioning this mindset from sports into business, you're maybe at $100,000 a year business. So you're just making your first 6 figures, but you're looking at someone who's maybe making $10 million a year. While that's inspiring, there's certain things that they're able to do in that $10 million business that you can't implement just yet in your business. They have more help. They have a better talent pool because they already have a known brand. They can pay their staff far better. They have better technology, and they've probably been doing it a lot longer than you have. So they have the reps in, and they've already built up the skill sets and the character traits. Versus if maybe you look at someone that's 2 or 3 steps ahead of you. So maybe you're looking at someone who does $500,000 to $1 million a year, or $500,000 to $2 million a year. That's a bit more feasible because that's an easier jump from going to 100K to maybe 500K. That's what, a 5x, or that's a 4x multiple, versus from 100 to 10 million. That's just too much of a gap. So even though it's going to inspire you, it can also kind of turn you off and demoralize you, because again, they're just speaking a completely different language that you can't do anything with because it's just not tangible enough for you. So you want to you want to mirror someone and kind of capture their image that's at a closer reach. Now, what about the person that's 2 or 3 levels below us? Like, what do we do with that? Because my whole thing is I want to win, and I want to win big. So what are we doing with the people that are 2 or 3 levels below us? The fastest way to learn is by you being able to teach something to someone else, because it first means that you have to understand it yourself 2 to 3 levels deep. And so the easiest principle that I can bring in is, if you want to know if you really understand a definition, if you want to know if you really understand a concept, try explaining that to a fourth grader. Try explaining that to a fifth grader. If you're still using buzzwords and you're not able to simplify maybe a paragraph into one sentence and an explanation that they would be able to get, then you probably don't understand that as much as you maybe think you do. Now, this is good because this is going to challenge you to simplify complex issues and complex projects to someone that, again, is 2 to 3 levels below you. So now let's play on the other side of the board. Maybe you're listening to this and you are at $500,000 a year. Maybe you're listening to this and you're at $1 million a year. Think to yourself about explaining a concept of where maybe you were 6 months ago, a year ago, in the same shoes as someone else. So maybe their issue was they didn't know how to get their messaging across to an audience. Maybe their issue was they didn't know how to package their product, whether it was a physical product or an information education product. Maybe you had just started your social media channel, you're at 100,000 subscribers, and you're talking to a friend or you're talking to someone that you're mentoring, coaching, and they're just barely breaking their first 10 subscribers. That conversation is totally different because now it goes from you constantly absorbing from someone and putting into play to something that you've put into play that now you have to dilute and then explain to someone else, which makes you understand and grow deeper roots in maybe the philosophy that you already have and that you've already established. The second thing that you want to do if you want to program yourself as a winner is that you want to learn from the losers and you want to do the exact opposite. I'll tell you a couple things that losers do. Losers complain. Losers don't look for solutions, and losers often quit, and they quit early, and they can never really stick to anything. And so if you want to win, do the exact opposite. It's literally like on the other side of the fence. It's black and it's white. Okay, what's the loser doing? The loser's complaining. Okay, let me not complain. Let me see how I can provide more value to other people by continuing to learn myself. What's the loser doing? The loser is telling everyone how hard it is. Okay, let me do the exact opposite. It's not that difficult. I just haven't found a vehicle, or I just don't have the proper information just yet to get me from point A to point B. Let me keep digging. Let me keep discovering. What's the loser doing? Well, the loser is blaming everyone else but themselves. Okay, well, maybe the reason why someone isn't buying from me, or maybe the reason why I'm in the situation that I'm in, is because I haven't managed my money to my best capabilities. I maybe haven't partnered up with the right people that are willing to take my ideas seriously. Maybe I haven't presented it in a way that people actually trust me. And so you want to look at what that loser is doing, and you want to do the complete opposite, because it's going to yield you the results that you're looking for versus being in that same whining pool. Remember, you're not a whiner, you're a winner, right? As tacky as that sounds, but it's really what it is. And you also want to be very careful of what you speak out into existence. And the last thing is you want to say things out loud to people, not just to yourself. This isn't about affirmations, although I believe in affirmations, right? You have to kind of psych yourself up into certain things that are going to put you into a mental state that obviously you're going to complete a task, which it means nothing. Let me put a caveat there. It means nothing if you're doing affirmations and you're not going to back it up with actions. So let me leave that there, because some people, they'll just do the hoorah, hoorah in front of the mirror all day, but they won't actually do anything about it. Or they'll just watch a bunch of YouTube videos, they'll gather information, and they'll say, wow, that was really cool, I can do this. And they never actually go out and try the information that they learned to see if it works for them or not. Here's a spoiler alert. Everything works if you do. And so if you just picked 1 or 2 people and modeled them and then kind of made it your own, or make it your own, it's going to work for you. You just have to actually go out there and make it your own so that you can own the thing. This creates instant accountability when you speak things out loud. Now, I want to be very careful with who I'm saying this to or the way that I deliver this, because you don't just want to say, I'm going to make $1 million next month, right? Especially if you're someone who you've already struggled with consistency, because this is going to create what's known as what we call a confirmation bias, almost like a reinforcement. So let's say if I tell someone, if I'm struggling with smoking and I go out to 2 or 3 of my closest friends that actually know me really well, and I say, hey bro, I quit smoking, and just look them dead in their eyes. So this is gonna do a couple things for you mentally, as much as it's gonna do for them. This is why this piece is important. This is why you wanna pick and choose who you say this to, because you're looking for accountability. You're not just looking for a couple likes on social media and say, oh, great job. No, you're actually looking for accountability. Say, hey, dude, I quit smoking. Okay. Wow. Really? When? Like today. Like I woke up, I threw out all the packs, like I threw out all the clothes that still smell like cigarettes. I took all my suits to the dry cleaners and I just quit smoking. And so what that's going to do for you mentally is I now have to back up what I say because your word is your bond. At least the way that I view the world. I view people, their word is an extension of them. So if somebody tells me that they're going to do something like, hey, I'm going to call you at 10, I'm expecting for them to call me at 10. If somebody tells me, hey, we're going to have this meeting and it's going to be me and two of my executives, I expect all three people to be there unless otherwise and say, hey, somebody couldn't make it or whatnot, right? Your word is your bond, and you'll do a lot of business with people if you can keep your word, which is something that winners do. So as much as this is going to program you to think to yourself, I don't smoke anymore, right? Like I gave up on smoking. When you see that person again, they're automatically going to associate you with a non-smoker. And so obviously you can throw in whatever you want. It doesn't have to be smoking. It can be, hey, dude, I just started my business. I got my LLC. I got my business bank account. I'm in business. If you know someone that's looking to XYZ, and then insert whatever your business is, that's going to create that confirmation and it's going to reinforce what you're doing. And so in closing, you want to be very careful about how you speak, not just about other people, not just about what you think is difficult, but also how you speak about yourself, because how you speak to yourself is more important than how other people view you. Because it's the message that you put out to the world of who you are, what you're looking to do, and that you mean business. And this is why winners are often feared in a competitive environment, because people know that when they say something, even if it doesn't happen, this is the other part, even if it doesn't happen the way that they said it would happen, they know that they are going to go to war and they're going to fight. So if you tell someone, hey, I'm going to make $1 million, maybe in the next 2-3 years, you put a target on it and people start to see the reinforcement, the reinforcing action. Hey, I'm not going out today. I'm making a few more calls. Hey, yeah, if we're going to meet, I have a couple more business meetings. So can we do it in this area so that I can, meet a couple more executives and a couple more businesses that I'm looking to maybe gain some territories in. Hey, I'm going to be posting 2 or 3 times on social media per day. I'm really looking to build up my brand so that I can have that leverage and so that people can see me as a force and as someone that they can trust, as an authority in the marketplace. And so when you start letting people know about what your standards are, people start to respect you and they start to say, okay, you know what? Let me either get out of this person's way because they mean business, or how can it be a part of their vision? Because having that winner's mindset and having that winner's programming is extremely attractive, and people want to be surrounded with winners because everyone wants to win and everyone wants a leader that's willing to go to war with them. So if you found value in this content, consider hitting the subscribe button and consider leaving us a 5-star review. Again, only if you found value. We're definitely looking to build up this podcast organically, and we want to encourage as many people to, if you can, upvote this because it's going to reach a larger audience. Until next time, everyone, I will see you in the next episode.